Hi everyone, this is Emma from Professional Beauty GCC. Thank you for joining us today. You may have noticed on our Instagram channel that we've been doing a series of interviews with our PB award winners from this year. And today I'm in the hot seat with the lovely Tara Kidd, owner of Tara Rose Salons in Abu Dhabi. Tara has been in the industry for 24 years. She currently has 80 staff, two branches in Abu Dhabi, one new branch in Motor City, and a newer branch about to open in Al Quoz in September. She's also, for the first time ever, done a joint venture with Jamila Poole, and they are now the proud owners of the Blowout Bar. So Tara, this year, she has won herself Business Director of the Year, which has put her in a Hall of Fame book, and also Team of the Year. So congratulations, Tara. Thank you for joining us. And today I really just want to congratulate you and just to talk about the awards, the importance of the awards, and why it's made a difference to you and your career.
Oh, thank you, Emma. It sounds so nice when you say it all like that. It's been a massive whirlwind, but yeah, I still can't actually quite believe that I managed to do it. But so thank you for such a fabulous introduction.
Oh, well, thank you. So how did it feel to win the Hall of Fame this year at the PB Awards for Business Director and Team of the Year?
You know, like I just said then, it really doesn't actually feel quite real because the process over the last few years has been such a big process, you know, but getting that really did sort of mean so much to me because the first year I won it, I was like, now I have to, anybody that knows me is when it comes to sort of goal setting, I was like, well, now I've got to win it 3 years in a row to get Hall of Fame. So, you know, when you really put everything into something and you set those goals very, very early on, and then you see them come off, you know, it really is, you know, it's quite crazy. And especially when, you know, the journey has been so big and it hasn't always been that way. So it means the world to me for sure.
Amazing. So for those of you who don't know what the Hall of Fame means, as Tara's just said, if you win the same category 3 years in a row, you get put quite literally into a PB Hall of Fame book, which goes down in history, which is currently being created at the moment. And it does mean that Tara, unfortunately, can't enter that category for 3 years. So she gets a break from writing all those entries for those 2 years.
I'm so excited.
But we will miss you. We will miss you. So just to focus on business director as a category first, which I personally really feel is the penultimate category of the night. Why did you enter this award initially?
Because so initially for me, this was completely out of my comfort zone. When I opened my business, first salon 8 years ago, I could cut hair, but I literally had no idea about running a business. But I learned very, very early on that in order to grow, you have to push yourself outside of your comfort zone. So I remember the first year I've been entering since the very beginning. So it's 6 years that it's been running. So entering that very first year, I was like completely out of my comfort zone, you know, rabbit in headlights, had no idea, you know. But I knew back then, and, you know, I had some very good people around me, Jamila and other people, you know, that have always been massive mentors and help within, you know, my growth within the industry, is that you have to do these things before you're ready, you know. And I believe that has been a huge part of my growth, because I remember that person I was going up for the very first time and being interviewed by people, you know, that I was eventually, you know, up against in these awards in the end, was so scary. You know, I could barely get a word out, and I think I almost cried in a couple of the interviews. So, you know, it's huge, it's massive.
I was going to mention, you know, you did come that first year, and you quite literally were trembling. So it's such a transformation since that year. And I remember being in that interview and seeing you. But your story was fascinating, so amazing. What led you then to re-enter again? And also, just to add to that, what did you do personally to help you with that confidence to come back and become the confident salon owner but entrepreneur that you are today?
Well, I think, you know, and it is a huge part of, you need to look at your growth year on year. You know, that very first year I went and I answered so many questions the wrong way. I think I even said, I'm not even sure why I called it Tara Rose Salon, you know, in one of the questions that I was asked. You really take back, feedback is so important, firstly, of any stage of growth. Getting that feedback is vital. So that was a huge part of it. I'm really, really looking at where I wasn't confident, so in terms of speaking, gaps in my business and all of those things. So, I took that first year and I took at things that were missing within me and within my business. And I started to work on these things. And I was like, right, I'm going to go back again next year, and then the mindset of starting that I'm going to continue to keep entering this until I eventually win it. So it's always a long-term goal. You have to set these long-term goals, because things do not happen overnight. It's these small changes that we make every day, which then sort of lead to the success, I believe.
Absolutely. So now focusing on your team is very special. I get requests every year from people that have booked to come to the awards to sit near your table. The atmosphere, that seeing you all together, you are a Tara Rose family, as I know you often mention. So it's very, very special. What makes your team special? What are the secret ingredients to a happy team? And what do you do specifically with your team to keep them motivated and energized to get to work in the morning?
I think, we really, as a brand, understand who we are and where we're going. The reason we're so special and unique is because we all share the same vision. Everybody wants to learn, grow and develop and be part of something more, so when you have that, exactly who you are as a brand, and you set those, those goals and those visions, and then you get people to join that as well, it becomes very, very powerful. It's more than just a job. You're building it comes down to careers. You're building careers and people being part of something bigger. You spend so much time at work. It's so important that everybody feels and is working towards the same goals. So I believe that is the key to sort of any great team, is having everybody aligned with the same vision and values of the company.
Absolutely. Now, when you've won Team of the Year, which has obviously been the last 3 years, what sort of atmosphere did you have in your salon after winning?
Yeah, I think everybody's just so proud to be part of something. And it's, again, these team entries and everything are not easy. We put everybody in front of the camera, our videos, we go all out. So again, this is, part of everybody's growth as well, watching our team entries over the years, how we've developed as a brand and all the things that we're involved in means so much to them, because they are also part of this. So whether it's career development or whether it's them going on camera and being part of this process, it's not my team, it's our team. So, it's that real sense of, we did it, and that proud feeling, because they get to look back at their progress as well and where they've come from. So it really does mean the world to them, and to me, of course, as well.
Absolutely. How many trophies do you have in your cabinet now?
I don't know, there's loads.
So entering the awards, it's not an easy process. It's not as simple as putting it on Facebook and getting people to like it and it being a popularity vote. There's 3 steps to the awards process in order to even become a finalist. So it's grueling. What advice would you give to someone who, let's look at the business director category for this year. What advice would you give to someone looking to enter that for the first time?
Yeah, it is a year-long process. Like I said, every year of entering that awards, I set very, very quickly into my head how I'm going to come back bigger and stronger next year. So again, you need to be well planned for it, because it's not just about entering at last minute and trying to scrap together pictures and treatment menus and everything like that. It's a real focus on where we were last year and where we're going next year. So again, it's all the data, all the training, all the videos, all the effort that goes into that year of progress, which is what makes the difference within your entry. So that would be my biggest tip is, see it from that perspective. Don't just do it as a rushed thing, because that is literally how much work we put into these entries. Once it's over, we're like, okay, right, let's start thinking about next year again, and we're getting all our stuff together and how can we come back stronger next year. So it's not a quick fix. It is definitely something that we've been putting a lot of effort into over the years.
And that is one thing that our judges say every year, that your the input you put into your entries is why you get shortlisted for so many categories, because there's so much information that you put in your time. It's really
this is a big thing as well. Like somebody said to me, why are you putting all that stuff into your entries as well? You know, because so many people are getting to see what you're up to. And I'm like, well, that's fine. You know, it's like, I am happy to share our journey and what we're doing, you know, because it comes from a place of a passion and strive to be better, you know, and that was a goal that I focused on. But, you know, we're very, you know, in our entries, and if anybody got to see them, you know, they are so in depth. Yes. You know, into every part of the business of the things that we've been doing, you know, and some people are like, don't share that. And some people are, whereas for me, I've never really had any secrets of what I'm doing. I'm quite an open book. Mm-hmm. So again, I didn't want to ever change the person that I was, you know, because a lot of people become closed books and don't want to share anything, you know, and that's one thing I've stood very strong on throughout my journey is I'm okay to share what I'm doing, you know. And when everybody really understands that each business is unique and focuses on their own and their own brand, that's where you really start to elevate your own journey.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's healthy competition as well. And that's what, you know, the community that we've built is all about. Eight years ago, you wouldn't even talk to your neighbor. Now, you know, we've got our WhatsApp group, we share advice, and it's about becoming that open book, like you said, which I think is just hugely invaluable and important. People should learn from people.
Definitely, 100%. And, you know, the biggest thing for me and the growth within the industry, obviously I've done a lot of other coaching and business and everything, but the most valuable things that I have learned through my journey are through people within this industry and sharing knowledge. Because without that, you know, there's no feedback, there's no growth, you know, and we shouldn't become these closed books, you know. There's some people are doing everything that we're doing, you know, and if you get that really, really close network, all of a sudden it doesn't become so lonely. You know, you can speak to somebody about maybe some issues that you're having. What advice do they have how to deal with something? So having this network is so important to the growth of your business, because it's very lonely. It can be very, very lonely. So you do need, you know, you do need advice and help from other people and not see it as a threat.
Absolutely. And touching on that slightly, you know, you mentioned to me you received quite a bit of negativity as a result of entering the awards. How did you overcome this? Was it as a result of sharing too much? Was it as a result of entering too much? What, you know, how did you overcome this situation?
Yeah, I mean, the last 3 years have obviously been huge for us. We got a lot of awards over the last 3 years. You know, it wasn't just business director. We had salon, we had, you know, color, we had salon stylist, you know. And I think this is the thing, people sort of see what they want to see on the surface. You know, our journey has been huge over the last 3 years, and also mine in particular, you know, starting to put yourself out there in front of people is really, really nerve-wracking. You know, but I understood that very early on. Like, if we want to grow and develop and reach our vision as a company, then that's the stuff that we're going to have to start doing. So, you know, it's hard. You know, people like to see what they see and they think that that's how it is. But, you know, it did. And I'm not going to lie, like, everybody thinks I'm this confident person. It did really affect me this year. You know, I got quite a lot of negative comments and stuff, only because I know how much work we put into everything. But equally, again, you know, I've made peace with it as well. Like, you know, that's something that I need to overcome myself, because the more you start to grow yourself, the more you are going to get negative comments, you know, the more you start, and that is just human nature, unfortunately. But I would say, you know, people really need to have a little more of a look at these things. You know, if people are going out there and doing something different and putting their teams out there on camera and putting themselves out on camera, we should celebrate these things and really tell people that they're doing a good job and well done, rather than sort of, you know, making fun or, you know, being quite negative. So that's my personal opinion anyway.
Absolutely. Completely agree with you. So how has entering the awards helped you and your business?
And I've said this to you, and this is why I wanted to come on. Like, it has been a huge part of the growth of my business within the industry, because when I started off all those years ago, like I said, I had no idea. I, you know, didn't want to go, I didn't know who I was as a person, let alone a company. You know, I could cut hair, I could color hair, but that was it. So having these industry awards was absolutely massive, because the feedback, you know, the entering process, you know, the year-on-year growth that you get from entering these. And, you know, I set out very, very early on that I wanted to win these awards. You know, I had it in my long-term vision. I want to be seen, you know, I want to be seen up there on that stage. You know, I want to see my team up there on that stage. So that very, very early on was setting a bigger vision than what was in front of me at that time. So that was the first thing. But the process, the feedback you get from salon, you know, hair salon of the year, you know, the comments, that was a big thing. You know, I remember people coming in and mystery shopping your branches is super scary, you know, but again, it is such valuable feedback that you get from these people, you know. So again, you take this feedback and you look at, right, how can I implement this? So there was so many different aspects to that, you know, growing the business, growing the team. Again, our color entries, you know, looking at our work this year to like, okay, right, how can we get stronger for next year? What skills do we need to bring into the education to get that really polished finish? You know, it's been a massive, huge part of the growth of the business all round, entering these awards and being part of it. So I honestly do recommend people to be involved, you know, and remove the nerves and the, you know, the fear of what people are thinking or going to say, because it doesn't matter about all of those things. It matters about you and your vision and how you can grow yourself and your business. And it has been one of the, you know, there's so many aspects to obviously growth within your business, but that has definitely been one very, very huge part of the business growth.
Wow. And yeah, talking about business growth, on to my final question today. What does the future look like for you? What plans have you got in the next few months?
So it's busy again. We are finally opening our branch in Alcuz. We're only a year behind.
Only
a year behind.
Yeah.
So we're really looking forward to that. Obviously, it's going to be, you know, this was our launch into Dubai. You know, coming to Dubai, obviously we were Abu Dhabi based before. You know, we knew we needed to come in with a new concept because there are so many amazing salons out there already, you know, doing fabulous, amazing hair. So I really knew if we were going to come to Dubai, we needed a new concept. So that's finally going to launch in September, which will be more of a creative space. It's a male and female salon. We also have a barbershop inside, and we have a academy, all licensed, approved academy upstairs within the business as well. We're also going to be having like a live podcast station in there as well. So it's really, really the first of its type in the region to launch is more of this creative space where everything under one roof. Because I've decided that there's literally, I don't want to do it again. And there's got to be, you know, an easier way of making money because, you know, as salon owners, you put everything into this. The investment is huge, you know, and running teams and trying to get to the next level, it is a lot of work, you know. So I just really wanted to have that one hub space for that. Which then leads me on to the next plans is we'll be taking a lot of stuff online. You know, times are changing. We've got to keep up with everything that's moving. We're going to be launching an e-commerce shop. So all hair and beauty products. So that's going to launch. We'll be working with many different brands, some from overseas as well. So that's exciting. That will also launch in October. And then I'm looking at my own product range as well to sell within the salon. So that's also super exciting and a great process to be part of. And then also we have My Salon Eye launching as well with my business partner, Jack Ludlow. So that will launch at the beginning of October, which is an online education platform, which is covered from the barbering side to the hair side, business side. We're going to have live mentors. So that's also really exciting. So yeah, it's very busy at the moment. But yeah, I just, you know, we need to, I want to look at the online world. You know, there's so much reach out there. We can do so much with it. So that is the sort of big focus over the next sort of few months.
Very exciting. Wow. We look forward to watching all these developments take place, and we'll obviously be supporting all of these elements once you're ready. So best of luck. So thank you for joining us today, Tara. We look forward to seeing you at the awards next year.
Yes, I'm excited. We will definitely still be there. We will definitely still be there. yeah, we won't be annoying everybody with all the short lists.
Wow, no, that's great to hear. So for those of you watching, our awards for next year are now open. If you head over to our Instagram channel at pro_beautygcc, you will be able to see the link to enter. So thank you, Tara, for joining us today, and thank you all for listening.
Thank you.